Welcome to the LongBox Paradox. I'm Dan, and today on my comic show, some of you may watch my horror shows and not this, we're going to talk about some of the week's releases. For me, one of the biggest things I was waiting on was Low by Rick Remender and Greg Tocchini. I might be murdering the pronunciation of his name. Issue 20 just came out after almost a year-long hiatus. It might have been just a year. This issue ended up being a catch-up issue, kind of, since there was a year break, to kind of catch you up, and they did it in a clever way where Stell, one of the main characters from and if you're not into this series or haven't read any of it, definitely go and pick up Volume 1, The Delirium of Hope. It follows the Kane family, which is Stell, Merrick, Tajo, and Della. In the book, their family is ripped apart, and it also tells you how the Earth basically is completely irradiated. The surface is uninhabitable, and most of the citizens ended up going underwater into these cities so that they can at least live. And they launch probes into space to try and look for inhabitable planets. This happened a long time ago, and after the initial part of the book opening, it has a time jump. And also in this world, hope is almost like a cultish religion, and having hope is considered something wrong with you. Like it's frowned upon. Some cities there, it is considered illegal to have hope. And some of the prominent families have these suits called the Helm suits, which the closest thing I could compare it to is the Big Daddy suits from the game BioShock. They're insanely powerful. They could sink the cities by themselves. Definitely The Delirium of Hope, Volume 1, is a must-read for me. And definitely, if you are kind of looking for something to get you out of the superhero genre or a break from it, it is a book you must pick up. Rick Remender is fantastic. I just love his writing. Greg Tocchini's covers are just lush and fantastic. There are times reading the comic where some of the panels are so beautiful and drawn and fantastical that it kind of takes you out of the story for a bit. And I'm not even saying that as a bad thing. Like, for me, I was there for Remender's writing, and then you have this art where you just stop reading and you're just taking it all in. He's amazing. Tocchini, I only learned of him from this book, and I'm kind of sad that that's what started me on him, but just beautiful. So, as I was talking about, issue 20, there is this story that's rehashing kind of what happened in the first 19 issues, but everything about it is off. Like, it's almost like a fever dream. I don't want to ruin the ending, but you find out why everything is like it is. And also, it dovetails nicely off of issue 19, but you don't realize it's dovetailing off of issue 19 until right near the last 5 pages, maybe 3 pages. Definitely worth a read. Definitely, I feel like it's an issue you can pick up after not reading and kind of pick up and understand what's gone on in the story so far. This is a must-read. As soon as the issues come out for Low, between that, Deadly Class, they're definitely top of the pile, so I make sure within the first day I read them. So from there, we're going to move on. I'll just go back and give a rating since I kind of have to. That Low is probably, I'd give it a must-read. But if you're not into the series, then I will forgive you for not reading it, but go back and pick up Trade 1. So, moving forward now. Detective Comics is inching closely to issue 1000. And in this, 994 was a good opening story by Tomasi. Mahnke is on art, Jamie Mendoza is inking. And it is, as I said last episode, Detective is the comic that Batman fans needed right now to get out of the regular Batman title, which I find terrible. It's just bad. So last episode we talked about 994, as I just alluded to, and that someone who knows what happened to the Wayne family is killing people and dressing them as the Wayne, seems to know so much about Batman. And near the end, Leslie Tompkins, who is a staple between the comics and the cartoon of the animated series, is poisoned with a form of Joker gas. This issue picks up where that one left off, with Bruce getting a hold of Alfred, getting him to get antitoxins made up. And they get Leslie back to the cave, and him and her having this discussion while the rictus Joker grin is hurting her. She's laughing herself to death. They try all of the antitoxins they have, and none of them are working. It's a new mutated form of the Joker toxin. And she passes on. It's a big death in the history of Batman side characters and people who supported him as Bruce as a kid and as an adult. Alfred is grief-stricken in a way that only Alfred can handle it. And as he's dealing with it, he hears something at the door. It says it's Commissioner Gordon. He goes to the door and is stabbed with a rapier by someone dressed as Zorro. Again, someone knows way too much about the Wayne case and knows more than they're letting on. So Alfred, there's a throwback to an Alfred story where he talks about waiting for Bruce to need the bell to call him. Alfred has the bell and starts jingling it. Bruce hears it, runs upstairs, and finds Alfred stabbed, and then he tells him someone in a Zorro costume stabbed him. So this is fraying Bruce in a way emotionally where Bane, when the Nightfall happened, he was trying to break him physically and mentally, where this is emotionally someone is hitting him right where it hurts. So he freaks out in kind of a calm rage and goes into Arkham, and he's walking down basically a line of all his rogues, turns the power out, and then basically said they're locked in there with their nightmare, and he's kind of glowing, the suit's glowing in the dark, and it ends. So something either bad's about to happen, or he's going to go just full insanity and just start wailing on them. The rumor right now is that they're bringing in an Arkham Knight character. If you played the Arkham Knight game, you knew it was Jason Todd in there. This time, who knows who it's going to be, since Jason Todd's kind of got his own book and his own thing going on. I have my guesses that maybe it is a rebranded Hush, where he's kind of abandoned the Hush identity and going to this new identity of the Arkham Knight. It also could be Lincoln March from the Court of Owls, which they had that little throwaway at the end that he may or may not be Bruce's brother from Martha. No idea, but I do like that there's a speculation on it. Mahnke and Tomasi have worked together for so long that they are in a great synergy when they work together. The storytelling's great, it moves quick, it hits the emotional beats, and again, if you are a Batman fan, this is the book you buy. The other one, by the Frank Miller B variant coming out next week, which I will buy. That's the only Batman from King I will buy just because of the cover. I probably will not read it because I cannot stand the writing in that book. And on that note, we're going to move on to a series that everybody told me I should try. I was iffy because it is Tom King and it's hit and miss a lot. So I read Heroes in Crisis, I caught up on it, and this book is horrible. It's slow. The dialogue is just rotten. These confessionals just make it just putrid. And I don't want to bag on creators. I really don't. But the editor or somebody has got to get involved. Maybe it's going to pick up near the end, but these last couple of issues, it's slow paced. It's just, There's nothing really happening. They're leaning so heavy on the unreliable narrators. Even Batman and Barry doing detective work is just shameful in this, especially issue 4, where they're both saying different names and Barry curses. Like, it's so stupid. And man, and I love Clay Mann's art. Clay Mann does some lush art in it. Unfortunately, I've already seen people complaining about the sexualization of these trauma survivors. I get it. I don't feel that was his intention. It might just be his style of art. But yeah, they did a Watchmen thing at the end where Superman shows up and he does the, oh, this happened 5 minutes ago after talking to Bruce and Diana. Boy, oh boy, I'm hoping it'll pick up near the end. I've already invested into 4 issues of this stupid series, so I guess I'll hang until the end just to see how much of a shit show it's going to be at the end. But if you're really wanting to read a comic with a murder mystery in it, where the murder mystery in this has been pretty terrible so far, then I recommend going back and reading Identity Crisis by Brad Meltzer, which, yes, they women infringed in it. I get it. But it was more compelling in that book in the first issue than this one has been in 4 issues. Also, Batman, The Long Halloween, another fantastic book. I'm not even a huge Jeff Loeb fan, but that and Dark Victory were fantastic. They just kept you going and guessing, and even at the end of Long Halloween, you're still guessing. Did they actually catch who it was, or did they not, or were there several people? You kind of have to play the guessing game. It's almost like the end of Inception, where the top is spinning, and it's kind of wobbling, but you don't know if it's actually going to fall or not. Spoilers for Inception. So from there, I'm going to move on now to books you might want to spec. The Frank Miller B cover for Batman that I alluded to, I think it's issue 62, is out this Wednesday. I definitely think it's going to be in higher demand than people might think. I know people hate Frank Miller lately, so I'm not one of those people. Also, Captain Marvel #1 is coming out. The Hughes variant probably is going to be the one that's going to be sought after Wednesday, but you're going to end up overpaying for it. You might want to wait till it's graded or see if eBay prices drop if you couldn't have made a deal with your LCS. There also is an Unknown Comics Mark Brooks variant that I really liked. It looks great. There's a Virgin variant of it. You're looking at, I think, $24.99 for the Virgin on it. That one, just because I like the look, that would be for my personal collection. Spec-wise, I don't see a ton of stuff coming out this week, but always first appearances, you want to look for that. Image ones sometimes tend to be under-ordered, so if you get a feeling just looking at the cover or you hear a little bit ahead, make time to email or call your LCS. With that, I'm going to move on. I think it's time to end this. I hope that anything I say during the series doesn't affect the way you like a book or hate a book. I just like talking about it. If you love it, that's great. I sometimes just don't feel that same connection to it. It happens. I've had those discussions where people with the Tom King Batman right now talk about how much they love it, and I don't understand it. But it happens. So until next time, thank you. And I appreciate your subscription, commenting, liking, anything you need to do. Share it. Good night, farewell, so long.